Hey guys, Matt Science here, and today I am back in r/regular revenge for day number 20. Oh my gosh, it's almost all the way through the third month basically at this point. And it's crazy. Okay, today I have 3 stories lined up. Let's just get into the madness that is Reddit. We'll start off on the right and work our way to the left. Okay, so this happened 9 years ago, and maybe a little long, so I'll put a TLDR at the bottom. Apologies for phone formatting. First thing you'll need a bit of history. My mum grew up in a small farming town. Around 100 people live in the village even today. And because of some choices her parents and some older brothers had made, the family was not popular. She was bullied relentlessly by fellow students, teachers, and even the school principal. Another story about how she got paid revenge on him. She moved away as soon as she could and lived overseas for over 20 years. During this time, she met a Canadian guy and had myself and my little brother. Due to family illness, however, we all moved to her home country. After my granddad died and mid-nasty divorce, the only house we could get was just outside this village, about 30 minutes from the main town of the center of the area. This resulted on me and my brother attending the same primary school, years 1 to 6, as our mum did some 30 years ago. Now, the school had around 90 to 100 students attending, in one classroom for each year level. I was introduced to the school for the start of year 2. My brother is 3 years younger than me, so he didn't attend school yet. I'm the type of student to either be doing my work or reading quietly, speaking when only spoken to. My Canadian accent in the small town didn't help the fact that people already knew who my mum was, and so the kids that had bullied my mum got their kids to bully me. No chance of me making friends. Anyways, I hated the year 2 teacher with a passion. She was always calling on me when I just wanted to do my work and nitpicking my answers like she did no one else. I ended up being friends with no students and all the teachers / admin staff and principal bar her. When I told my mum about her, she recognized the name. Turned out Y2 was the teacher she had hated the most at that school. I survived her class and go on to the next year, very glad to be rid of her. Fast forward 4 years and I'm in my last year at the school. Almost everyone takes buses home, being a farming community, and every bus has an area where kids are supposed to assemble, be checked off so no one is left behind. I get given the responsibility for my line, as I'm easily the most responsible kid there. Keep in mind though, I'm still only 10. I'm known to teachers as being honest, as the year before I found a $50 note and handed it into the office instead of keeping it. My bus line happens to be right outside year 2's classroom, so sometimes she comes outside to see why we're being loud if it's extra noisy that day. On this particular day, I finished my head count and my line is waiting for the bus to pull up so I can lead them over. I notice one of the smaller kids, first or second year, is crying, so I go over and sit beside him to see what's wrong. The crying draws the attention of Y2, who comes outside and sees me consoling this kid, and somehow draws the conclusion that I did something to make him cry. It doesn't matter what I or the kids say, she's given me my first, and to this day, only detention. Next day, all lunchtime in her class. It doesn't bother me as much as it could, as I usually just sit in the library and read all lunch because the librarian knows she can trust me alone in there. But that's not the point. So next day I head to her classroom at lunch as instructed and sit and read. She's not happy that it isn't really a punishment for me, but what is she going to do? About halfway through lunch, the principal pops her head into the room to check how things are going, and does a double take on seeing me there. She discreetly writes me a note telling me to come see her in her office after lunch, and that she'll let my teacher know I'll be late, and on her walk through, slips it into my book without Y2 noticing. Lunch finishes, and I go to the principal. She asks me what happened to get me in trouble, and I tell her that Y2 wouldn't listen, even when the other kid told her I was trying to cheer him up. She, and sends me back to class. At the end of the week, we have school assemblies, with all students and teachers present. Parents invited, nothing special. This one was a little different though, as at the end of the assembly, Y2 stands up. I've never seen her look so small. She was forced by the principal to apologize to me for giving me a wrongful detention in front of 90 to 100 kids, all of her co-workers, and around 10 sets of parents. She was very respectful after that, and it even got her off my little brother's back. One of the most satisfying moments of my life, and my mum was also very happy when I told her. TLDR, bitchy teacher gives me attention for trying to help a crying kid, gets forced into a public apology by the principal. It's just like, that's what happens when you make an assumption. You make an ass out of you and me. He sent me unwanted nudes, so I sent them to his dad. I originally posted this in Pro, not knowing about Petty, and was told to repost here, so here I am, lol. Disclaimer, my post on RegularRevenge had a lot of backlash about child porn, and I apologize, I didn't know what I did was wrong at the time, and I'm sorry if it offends or bothers you. So, when I was 14, I had just gone Snapchat for the first time. I was still getting used to it and trying to figure it out, but luckily my friend showed me how to add people and send messages, yada yada. One day when I was laying in my bed, I had received a friend request from this guy we'll call DB for douchebag. Anyway, I added him back to see who he was, and turns out he was a guy from my old school. I never talked to him, just saw him in the hallways and stuff. We started talking and things seemed fine, exchanging hellos and how are you, stuff like that. But then he ruined it. He sent me a picture of his face, asking if I trade now because of my ex. Because of my ex, I knew what it meant and told him no and screenshot the picture. DB then sent me another picture of him holding his penis with his face in the picture, disgustingly saying that he was jerking off while talking to me. I screenshot it even though I was mortified and disgusted with this. I told him no and to fuck off. DB then started cussing and calling me a whore, but I blocked him before he could say anything else. I went to my Facebook because I knew he added me there a while ago and manhunted for his parents. Soon I found his dad, we'll call him CG, considerate guy. I asked CG if he was DB's dad and he responded yes. I then sent him both pictures of his son and more screenshots of the insults. CG was livid. He called me apologizing and said he would take care of it. Turns out CG posted all of the screenshots I sent him. His son's nudes blurred out, only showing his face. Him asking me to trade and the insults. Not only that, he posted a video of himself smashing the batteries of DB's phone, saying he didn't raise his son to disrespect women like that. Long story short, don't send me nudes I don't want, or your battery's gonna get smashed. Thanks to r/ and Bumfris for introducing me to Reddit. Oh yeah, it's like Snapchat, the place where you can just be like, send nudes, and then like, it's like with females though. It's like, I don't want to say the name of the site, but like the name of the genre that I'm talking about, but you get it, when they've got it all hanging out on the camera, and it's just like, yes, I really wanted to see that today. Side note, I do not care about that sort of stuff. Not my bread and butter. Annoying regular tries to scout team models. Finally slips up. Male 26 at the time of story, used to work at a coffee stand inside a large retail store. It was an industrial or semi-rural town, so we were kept busy by one of the few coffee stands in the area. Some people expected us to act like a full-service cafe. An elderly customer complained that we didn't have porcelain for the espresso, and one guy in particular would stay in the seating area for hours at a time, using the Wi-Fi and working from his cell phone and laptop. He always ordered a small blonde roast as a pour-over. When someone orders a small blonde roast, you know that's a good sign. There's nothing wrong with using the store's Wi-Fi, but Blonde Roast also liked to try and talk to the baristas when he wasn't actively on his phone and brag about how he travelled all around the country for business, though he said he lived in the area. This was 2016, and he would also try to engage me in political debate. When it snowed that winter, he walked in and out of the store while making his phone calls and tracked salt all over the cafe floor. I did my absolute best to be polite, stay neutral, not get fired, etc., but I fucking hated this guy. I think he chose to do his work at a cafe so he could be seen being important in public and be known as a man about town. We were often busy and understaffed, but if there wasn't a customer directly in front of the counter and he was feeling chatty, he loved having us as a captive audience. It would make it hard to keep up with cleaning and refilling tasks. He tried to have the attitude of a big spender, but consistently ordered one of the cheapest things on the menu. Several of my co-workers were girls in high school, usually working evenings and weekends. Blonde Rose liked to hang around on weekends and claimed to one of my co-workers at some point that he ran or worked for a modeling company. I thought it was weird because of how our breaks function and limits on how long minors can work. It was rare that the high schoolers were ever behind the counter alone. One night though, I was closing with one of the high schoolers and went to take my break. Blonde Rose was sitting there with his laptop, but not bugging us. It was around 7:30 p.m, so while it was a little slow, there were a fair amount of customers still in store, and I'd be back in 15 minutes. I returned from my break, and Blonde Rose packs up and leaves shortly after. My co-worker then tells me that while I was gone, he had called her over to look at his laptop and show her pictures of women in bikinis and lingerie, telling her that he worked in team modeling as well. He had also given her a business card. This girl was 16. The man was late 40s/50s. Oh, fuck that, no. I asked her to talk to the closing manager that night, and thankfully she listened to us. Blonde Rose had been annoying for months, but had never done anything that could get him removed. But on top of being a creep, offering his business card counted as solicitation and was not permitted by the company. I wasn't there to see it, sadly, but I heard that the next time he came in, several people from upper management walked up and served him with a piece of paper, banning him from the premises or requiring that he cease and desist passing out business cards. In any case, he scurried out, arguing, and I never saw him again. I wish I remembered his real name so I could look him up and see if he's been arrested for something yet. Blonde Rose was also friendly with a different co-worker who was fired several months earlier for sending inappropriate text messages to a female supervisor half his age. But that is a different non-revenge story. Edit, this was in Allentown, PA, and I am thankful every day that I don't live there anymore. Oh my gosh. Sexual predator. You gotta watch out for the sexual predators. Why? Why would you do it in such a location? Like a cafe. I get it, the girls might look beautiful and depending on the outfits, big titties, as Roman would say in GTA. But no, you don't. It is not what you do. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also this channel, where there's a link to the playlist in the last episode on the screen for you to click on right now. Go and check them out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.